Hey kids, this is Adam. How you doing? So I wanted to make a video response to Multiverso Distopico. Hopefully I'm not messing up his name too much, but my Portuguese isn't all that great. I got introduced to his channel by talking about games, and because he was doing a lot of video responses, so I figured let me go check this channel out. And I realized I had a problem because I don't speak Portuguese. So fortunately, there's great little subtitles, so you can read along in English. Except I do most of my video watching, so to speak, while I'm driving to work. And so I figured, well, this is not going to work well for me, in terms of longevity. So I actually have to stop and watch them. And his videos are great. So I used another a series about creating RPGs. But I want to talk about the one he had talking about letting players roll for their own fate. And the idea that some players may be a little put off when you're rolling to hit them or kill them or something, or something's trying to kill them. Say, well, why can't I roll for that? It's my character. So he's like, hey, yeah, sure. It's going to be your fault if you die, that sort of thing. And you talked a little bit about what I would call superstition on some days where somebody's just really hot and they're rolling really good or not rolling so good. So let the other guy roll. So I figured, he used various games as examples, but I figured why not use one of my favorite systems, which, no surprise would be like, old school D&D, or, you could use modern games as well. So the number you have to remember in this example is 22. And by the way, before we get to 22, occasionally there's games where, they use the old descending armor class. The conversion of those is not that hard. You have to figure out which game it is. Some of them you need to convert ascending armor class to descending armor class. You need to subtract the descending armor class from 20, then you get the ascending. So, you have armor class 5 might turn to 15. Other ones, it's 19. You have to subtract the descending armor class from 19. You can figure out for which system it is, And if you mess up by 1, it's not that bad, not that big of a deal. Anyhow, let's get back to 22. You want to take your in a normal system. Let's say we've got a system that uses a base armor class of 10. That's the worst armor class. And let's say, for the sake of argument, your character's got armor that gives them 4 of benefit. So it could be like, I don't know, chainmail, scale mail, whatever happens to give you 4 points of benefit. So your armor class is now 14. Normally, your attacker is just going to roll a d20 and try to hit a 14. Let's say your attacker has an attack bonus of 3. So he gets to add 3 to his roll. So sitting there, yeah, I got an 11. I got exactly 14. I gotcha. Okay. But now what if you want to make the roll for yourself? Well, here's what you got to do. You got to take the number 22 and subtract your armor class from it. Then you take that number and you add your attacker's attack bonus to that. So in this example, you've got an armor class of 14, right? You subtract that from 22. And now you've got an 8. You add your attacker's attack bonus to that. That's a 3. That's your target number. Your target number is 11. That's what you've got to hit in order to defend. A variant on that would be you take 22, you subtract the base armor class in that system, which would be 10. Then you add your attacker's armor class attack bonus to that, the 13. But then you get to add the value of your armor, which would be 4, to your roll. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference. The other, so that's a simple way. Okay, you get to roll for yourself. Let me see if I hit an 11 here. I got a 2. He hit me. Okay, but I got to roll for myself. The other thing you talked about was opposed rolls, and there's games systems that support that. But it's not that hard. You go to, if you want to look at the mathematical probabilities, all you got to do is go to something like anydice.com. And in this example, we're going to have an opposed roll between these two guys. Our defender is going to roll a d20. He's going to add 4 to his roll because his armor is worth 4. Okay. Our attacker is going to roll a d20 and add 3 to his roll because he's got a 3 attack bonus. See who rolls higher. There'll be a tie every once in a while. However you want to handle that, whether you want to do 50-50 split or whether you want to just like re-roll, doesn't really make a difference. You go to anydice.com and you look at the probabilities for that. All you got to do is put in like a macro like output, in parentheses d20 plus 4 minus in parentheses again d20 plus 3, and what you're looking for is at least 1, and that'll tell you whether or not what the probability is, and pretty easy stuff. The curves aren't that bad. So you can do opposed rolls, d20 rolls, just like that. Just add the modifier. Same difference. So people get to roll for themselves, one way or the other. He also talked about, there's different systems that do different kinds of damage. Of course, the old standard D&D type thing, you're rolling dice for damage. Maybe you hit him with a short sword, it's d6. Well, why the heck not just say, all right, fine. You've taken 7 points of damage, right? Okay, roll this die to see how many points you get to take off. So as I'm defending now, I roll 6. I only take 1 point of damage. Hooray for me. Not that hard. Lets the players roll for themselves if they want to, and if you want them to. The end.